Hello, good morning. Here's the FX weekly update. It's been plenty going on this week, especially in equities. That's probably very well documented and known by you. But quite a bit going on in FX as well, so let's just crack on through and go through it. So we'll look at historical and the short-term picture on the majors. Going to start off with the dollar index, and I suppose there's a key takeaway. There's a few, but a key takeaway this week is normally in the past when you get equity weakness, for whatever reason people go into the euro and the yen, which has always been there for years, and really this week there was a bit of a sea change and the euro didn't really get much of a bid this week. There wasn't any flight into it, so we had Draghi as well, which probably had a little bit to do with it. But anyway, we're going to start with the dollar index and talk before about this massive level, which is at 96.35. We respected it on Wednesday and on Thursday, which was also a short-term level as well, was respected. We popped above it on Friday, but we have not closed above it. So if we just look at that, just circle that for you. There we go. So we haven't closed above it, so it raises the bar slightly. It means that we now have to make a daily close above Friday's high to say that the trend is continuing upwards. The next target is again a long way away. It's a weekly level all the way up at 101.49. If I go intraday, and this is a 60-minute chart, what we have here is a move at the beginning of the week, came down to the support zone, big confluence of half day and quarter day levels, and then we've extended higher through the week, got close to 3 up on Wednesday, stopped just shy of it. Can see that break up until really America opened, and then it's come back down again. So the resistances short term are actually pretty weak. There's nothing major, everything is still below price. Let's go to the euro short term. Obviously pretty much the converse of that, so we've been moving lower throughout the week, but there has been some changes, and the big change really is this level that was all the way up in the 117s has moved down towards Friday's high. So it's actually condensed price to a certain extent. Again, supports are pretty weak, not a great deal there. If I go to the historical chart, we know that on spot there wasn't any levels immediately below. I've got 109.10, but if we went to the futures, there was a weekly level there, and down at 114.13. Popped just below it on Thursday again yesterday, but then it has not closed below it. So 114.13 is still pretty important, as is the resistance at 115.24. So any bounce up to there would be looking for a failure. Move on to the pound. Pound, we know, had permission to be short for all of the week, and pretty much it was one-way traffic. We had one blip on Tuesday, and then we just carried on down the rest of the week. No support on spot, and we broke fine and minor daily Henkanashi base level, closed below that on Wednesday. So 123.08 on futures, a long way away. Go back to the short-term chart. See the breakdown early on, and I talked about that, and we were condensed. Look how tight the range was. So the barrier for breaking down was actually very, very narrow, and we've just extended through the week. Everything is still above price. Let's do the yen. Really, there wasn't a huge amount of flight of quality into the yen, considering what the equities did. It's pretty quiet. Levels are a long way away. If I go intraday, you see that we attempted a breakdown mid-afternoon yesterday, and it just about, I suppose you could argue it's just about held. All the major levels are still above price, so really doesn't look like the one that's most interesting. Let's go to the Aussie. Aussie pretty quiet. It was quiet the week before. Again, we tried to break down. You can see when the dollar index broke up, but it actually reversed pretty sharply. So again, not much reason to be active in that one. This actually shows up a lot more on the daily chart. We failed at the breakdown point repeatedly the week before. We got very, very close. Let's just spread that out a little bit. We got very, very close to 3 down. So the limit of participation, which when we had that break, is a warning sign that it's not actually going to work. And then we've reversed pretty sharply. So Aussie doing pretty good. Kiwi, similar sort of story. That did hit 3 down and reverse. So it looks like we got a bit of an exhaustion point there. Finally, dollar CAD, pretty quiet, not much to report there. We did have a spike low on Wednesday that went into that weekly level. There is no powerful resistance as such above, so that looks like that can still go. It's worth looking at crude oil just in relationship to the CAD. Crude was pretty poor all week. Big reference for you next week, 64, 65, if we have another slide. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. So the takeaways there, you really got to watch that dollar index. Very important what that does early on in the week. Okay, thank you.